Hey guys, today I'm going to be making some pancakes. I mentioned in a previous video when we made French toast that it would be cool to make pancakes, just in case you didn't know what our pancakes look like. These are traditional, I guess, Southern pancakes. Although a true Southern pancake would have buttermilk in them, I really don't necessarily care one way or the other for buttermilk. So for me, the flavor difference is not enough to go buy buttermilk specifically for these, so I'm just going to use milk. Same difference. So what you need is, you need 1.5 cups of flour, and I've got it measured out here in my bowl. 3.5 teaspoons of baking soda, or baking powder, I'm sorry, baking powder. So 3.5 teaspoons of baking powder. 1 teaspoon of salt. 1 tablespoon of sugar. 1 1/4 cup of milk. 1 egg. And 3 tablespoons of butter that's been melted. I just put it in the microwave and melted it that way. So I'm going to take my flour, and I'm going to take all my dry ingredients, and you're supposed to sift them together. Here's how I do it. I dump them all in the bowl together, and then I just take my spoon while it's still dry, and I just kind of mix it up together. It's always worked fine for me, so I'm not too stressed about it. The only other ingredient you're going to need is some oil to cook this in. I tried the French toast without just like cooking spray, and it worked okay, but it didn't brown as well as it should have. So I'm gonna actually use oil this time, and you only need enough oil just to cover the bottom of the pan a little bit, just to keep it from sticking. So you can see the powder is pretty much mixed up. There's no clumps of anything. It's all pretty much incorporated. So what I do is I make a little hole in the middle, and I dump my milk in. Not that that little hole made any difference, but that's okay. My egg. And then my butter. And then I'm just going to mix it together. This is the thickness you're looking for. If you take your spoon and just kind of gloppy, I don't know the description for that. I'm sure there's an actual technical term, but that's it looks gloppy. It looks like oatmeal to me. So anyway, that's about the texture you want. If you want a little bit thinner, you could do it that way, but I like it pretty thick. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some oil in my pan and let the oil heat up, because you want it to be hot. You don't want it smoking, because if it's smoking, it's too hot. You want it hot before you put this in there. So I'm gonna get the pan ready and I'll be back. Okay, my pan's hot. I've actually got it on about medium heat, and if you drop a drop of water, not a lot of water, just a drop of water in there, and it kind of pops a little bit like it's doing, that means it's hot enough. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use the spoon that I used. You could use a ladle, a scoop, whatever you have. This is a pretty good size though. And literally just drop it right in. And you notice it's kind of popping or sizzling a little bit. That's what you want. That's going to need more. And you usually get about 3 in this size pan. So basically you just let it cook on this side until it gets brown, and then flip it over. You'll start seeing it dry out on top a little bit and start bubbling, like it'll have little air bubbles popping up to the surface, and you'll start seeing the edges down in here get a little brown. That's when you know you need to flip it over. So brown around the edges just a little bit, and a drier texture on the top with like little air bubbles on the top. So that's what I'm waiting to look for. Okay, you can see how the bubbles are developing on the top, and there's a little bit of brownness around the edge. That's what you're looking for. So I'm going to flip these, and hopefully I don't splatter oil. Sometimes it does. I'll flip them this way. Yeah, see that perfect brown? And see how they've risen? They're much, much thicker, like almost like a biscuit or something. Now, sometimes they'll get a little oil on the top, but usually these, you can see how much oil I had and notice how much oil I have left. These soak up the oil. That's why I usually try to do it without using a lot of oil in there, because they will suck it up, but you can't do it. They just won't brown right with just cooking spray. So I'm gonna let this, basically, I'll just keep checking the bottom here and there. You really want the inside cooked, so I want them at least this brown on the other side as well. I'll probably make another 3 and then we'll try it out.
Okay, I like to put butter on my pancakes.
I do too, I've already put it on mine.
Yeah, Kevin already did his.
I'm gonna turn you just a little bit. There we go.
And I also like syrup.
I do too.
You can go ahead.
This is Mrs. Buttersworth, but you can put anything you wanted on them.
And I'm using it's Land O'Lakes butter, and yeah, lots and lots and lots of butter. But that's how they're good. It's almost like a cake.
It is. And they're good and fluffy. They're very thick. They've risen well.
Let's see. Okay.
Now you put it on top of this, but your French toast you put to the side. Isn't
I know.
that funny?
Well, I know.
I wonder if it's because these are a little crispier and you know it's just not going to sink in as much.
Probably.
So I want to show you how thick these are.
Oh, wow.
See how thick?
They're very thick. I guess I was going to try to hold it up, but...
You know, syrup all over the table.
Mm-hmm. Mmm.
When we take a picture, we'll show them. Those are really good.
Very good.
In the past, we've used, they make a boxed mix, like a Bisquick baking mix. We've done those before, but I like these pretty good. Just homemade, they don't take any more time or effort than the Bisquick does, so.
Do you think it's cheaper?
Probably.
As long as you have the baking soda?
As long as you have the baking soda and sugar and flour, I mean, pretty much everybody has that.
Right.
You can see the bottom and the top are golden brown. Really good.
But you can dress these up any way you want. I mean, if you have different flavorings, strawberry, or I know some people, are you going to try to, that's what I was thinking, put your plate up under it.
There's how thick they are. Unlike those paper thin things that someone said were pancakes, but they weren't.
Scarlet in Wisconsin. That's how they make them.
Those are not pancakes.
That's how they make them. And in England, Carl said that's how they're used to their pancakes.
That's just strange to us. I guess in the South, I don't know if I never realized like thick fluffy pancakes was a Southern
regional thing.
But
no, never.
Evidently it is.
Yeah. Well, these are delicious. As you can see, they were very, very easy to make, and they didn't take much time.
The key is don't let your oil get too hot, or you get, if you look at, you can probably see our plates. Mine was the first batch. It's a little more evenly golden brown. Tammy's was the second batch. They're still good, but they're a little darker around the edges. That's because the pan tends to get a little hotter as you cook. So you got to really keep your temperature down. I put butter all over mine. That's why she didn't want mine. She wanted to put her own butter.
I put butter on mine too. So anyway, they're very, very good. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I know you like to see Kevin cook. And
if you have this kind of pancakes and you live up north, let us know if it's a regional thing. Is it whatever?
Yeah, like William lives in New York. William, what kind of pancakes do you see? Even if you don't eat them, what kind do you see in your area? Anybody that's in the northern, northeastern states that watches us, we're very, very curious about that.
Just curious about it.
So thanks for watching.